Hello, Mindful Music Muffins, and today's video is going to be about speaking up about mental health. There's a lot of stigma and shame around mental health, and people feel like they can't talk about it, but I think it's important that we do, and that we break this stigma that's been brought about by the media and just by society. Here are some benefits and reasons why you should speak up. Reason number one is that it allows you to access the help that you need. If you open up about your problems with a doctor, then maybe you can see a therapist or get medication or whatever, and it helps you to basically access the help that you need and get onto that road of recovery. Obviously that's really important because nobody wants to be mentally ill, of course, so talking about it will help you to get better and not have to deal with it anymore, or at least be able to manage it, and it won't feel like it's overwhelming you all the time, which would obviously be a very good thing. Reason number two is that it breaks the stigma. As I said before, a lot of the stigma comes from not talking about it and feeling like you can't talk about it. So of course if you talk about it, then it goes against that, and it helps to stop the stigma from continuing on, and then other people will talk about it, and it will just basically help to go against the ideas that society or the media has about mental health, and people won't need to feel ashamed about it anymore because you'll be fighting back against that shame and showing that there is nothing to be ashamed of. The third reason is that it allows you to have a good support network. So if you talk to your friends about how you're feeling, then they can help you. If they don't know what you're going through, then they can't really help you, and it may even make things difficult for your relationship because they might think, I don't know, like that you're being rude or something when actually you're just distant, or they might just think you don't want to talk to them anymore, but in reality you're anxious or depressed or something, but if they don't know, they can't understand or help you. So speaking out about it means that they can be there for you and just do what they can to get you through it and give you advice and these good things. So support networks are really important, and not only just your friends but your family as well. Your family would want to be there for you, I hope, at least, and if they know what's wrong, then they can, you know, give you the advice you need, and just be there to help you feel better, and just so yeah, support networks are super duper important. Reason number four is that you won't have to pretend to be okay anymore. If you speak out about how you're feeling, then you'll no longer have to act like you're okay, or, you know, always be telling people around you that you're fine when really you're not. And people can't help you if you always tell them that you're okay when you're not, and you shouldn't have to tell them that all the time. You shouldn't have to pretend to be okay. Speaking out about it allows you to not have to feign happiness all the time and not have to be all smiley happy when really you don't feel that way at all. I don't think there should be any shame in saying, like, you know, if someone says, how are you, to be able to just say, I'm quite anxious right now. A lot of people feel like, oh, I couldn't possibly say that, but actually I think you should be able to say that because then they can help you. It's important to not have to pretend to be okay all the time, because at some point you will snap. Pretending to be okay is not really good for you, because then you bottle everything up inside, and that's never good. So yeah, that's definitely a good reason to talk about it. Reason number five is that if you talk about mental health and mental illness, then maybe other people will be encouraged to talk about it as well. That's partly why I talk about it here on this channel, because then maybe people will see it and then they'll feel like, oh, I don't need to be ashamed anymore, and then they'll talk about it, and then somebody will see that and then they'll feel the same, and maybe it will like spread around. And I think that's how fighting stigma is going to work. People just have to like go against it. So even though the stigma is there, talk about it anyway, and then more people will talk about it, and then it will just spread, and hopefully one day the stigma will be eradicated completely, and that would just be awesome. Encouraging others, I think, is a really important part of it. And the last reason is that I think it can make you feel less ashamed as well. I definitely feel like since I've opened up about my problems, that I feel less like I have to be ashamed and hide them. Not only is it beneficial in terms of like encouraging other people, but I think it also just helps you as well to feel better about yourself, and like you don't feel like you have this big secret that you need to be ashamed of all the time. No one wants to feel ashamed, and no one should have to feel ashamed, and I think that like talking about your problems maybe will help to take some of that away, which obviously would be good. You may be afraid of being mocked or not being understood, but these things come from stigma. Speaking up stops the perpetuation of the cycle of shame and stigma, and it prevents you from having to battle everything alone. And that is why speaking up about mental illness is so important. Anyway, I hope this video was good and you enjoyed it and it was helpful, and I hope that it will help to fight stigma. Obviously it's not going to do that on its own, but hopefully it will make a positive difference. Outro time. Thank you for watching Mindful Music Muffins. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to show that like button some love, and if you want to see more videos, you know what you need to do. Obey the cushion, and I'll see you next time. Love you guys. Bye.